The European Commission and the State Tourism Department under the Ministry of Economy are implementing the project European Destinations of Excellence for 4 years already. The project aims to draw attention to diversity of the European touring areas and promote accordant tourism development. The topic of this year's project is the restored and adopted for tourism buildings. This film presents 5 localities in Lithuania involved in this project, which attracted the greatest attention and received the most favorable evaluation. The winner of the project, Lithuanian Tourism Attraction Area 2011, is Rokiškis Manor. Built in the 16th century, this manor is famous not only for its special and exclusively preserved authentic history exhibits, as well as permanently operating unique exhibitions, but also for perfectly reconstructed manor buildings. Rokiškis Manor Ensemble is the 2-story building in classicism style, which served as a residence of the famous Lithuanian counts, the Tyzenhauzes family. A park was planted next to the manor. At those times, Rokiškis Manor became a unique place of attraction and entertainment for Lithuanian nobility and aristocracy. In 1940, the last noble manor owners, Pšezdzieckis family, withdrew from Lithuania. Long years, the manor cook, Kalpokas, guarded personal belongings and other household items of the owners. Thanks to him, today we can see the crockery that was used and the clothing that was worn at those times. Only the authentic dining hall survived to the present day, where we can admire the rare collection of antique china. Rokiškis Regional Museum was moved to the manor building before World War II. The museum accumulated a rich collection of archaeological, historical, numismatic, art and ethnographic exhibits. It is also a unique and valuable collection of cultural heritage of manor houses. Rokiškis Manor fascinates with the exhibition of works by a famous 20th century woodcarver and crossmaker Lionginas Šepka. More than 300 wooden sculptures of various size are displayed in the 6 halls of the museum. Exhibitions of woodcarving works and plein airs are being organized in continuation of the Lionginas Šepka art tradition. The donated works of art decorate Rokiškis town park. The enchanting exhibition of Christmas cribs for different countries charms with different compositions of various size made by professional woodcarvers, potters, simple people and children of this religious topic. In recent years, Rokiškis Museum pays special attention to the educational activities. There are over 30 currently developed different educational programs for children and adults. Biržai Castle is the best remained Lithuanian bastion fortress, which was built in the 16th century by the famous in those times hetman of Lithuanian Grand Duchy Kristupas Radvila Perkūnas to protect the northern borders of Lithuania and his personal lands. During the Swedish wars, the castle was destroyed many times. The fortress palace was restored, and since 1989, Biržai Museum Sela settled there. The museum houses unique exhibits revealing the history and culture of Biržai, as well as the archaeological finds. There is a collection of old musical instruments, a selection of old and new folk art items, fascinating authentic 17th century and tiled stove. There is art and folk exhibition organized in the castle, as well as a variety of educational classes for children. Adults are presented with the educational Žaldokas beer program with ethnographic elements, accompanied by songs and dances of the folk group. Biržai region is famous for its brewers and special beer for a long time. Biržai Brewery, founded in 1686, is one of the oldest in Lithuania. During the reconstruction in Biržų Alus Brewery, an old cellar built in 1882 was found. The photos of the old brewery are exhibited in the authentic atmosphere. Visitors can watch the process of beer brewing and taste different types of beer. Žaliukai Miller Homestead is a countryside surrounded by town with a focus on traditional folk values. The main homestead building is Žaliukai Windmill, a second half of the 19th century building representing Lithuanian traditional wooden architecture. The mill construction and technological equipment is a significant engineering legacy of local masters' solutions. Counting over 130 years of existence, the mill is the first museum of grain processing history in Lithuania. Before the Second World War, this windmill was used for its true purpose, for grinding grain. Later, it was handed over to Šiauliai Aušra Museum. Shortly after that, the grain mill exposition was opened here. The Living History Festival, Days of Old Crafts, are held in and around Žaliūkai Mill. In the rebuilt Miller House, guests can spend their time by selecting an interactive program of ethnocultural bread baking and see what the last century rural life was like. Kurtuvėnai Manor is one of the oldest estates in Lithuania, known since the 15th century. Located at the crossroads of Žemaitija, the estate was owned by the families of the famous Lithuanian nobles. The last Kurtuvėnai landlord was exiled to Siberia by the Soviet government, which also nationalized the estate. The restoration work of the manor started in 1993. Until now, 6 buildings of the estate are restored and adapted to tourism needs. Those are servant house, barn, gardener's cottage, stables, cowshed and cotter house. The authentic homestead structure was restored according to historical and archaeological research. At present, the manor is administered by Kurtuvėnai Regional Park Authority. The most valuable manor building is the largest in Lithuanian 18th century Baroque wooden 2-story barn with pillars and ornamented doors. At present, there take place various concerts, exhibitions, conferences, folk evenings and annual barn theatre festival. Tourists love to see the manor surroundings by riding horses and bicycles that can be rented in the place. Kurtuvėnai Manor is surrounded by a lot of ponds where entertaining carp fishing or water bird watching are organized. Kurtuvėnai Regional Park Guest House is set up in a former servant house. Next to there is a 3-star camping place. The Manor Inn is located in the restored cotter house, where guests are treated to traditional Lithuanian dishes. Plateliai Manor started its development in the 17th century. It consisted of the main house, ice house, greenhouse, servant house and outbuildings. The manor buildings were surrounded by the park of 4 ponds. Only Manor Park and a few outbuildings survived after World War II. Wooden manor house burned down during the war. Plateliai Manor is the nursery of Žemaitija region culture preservation and transfer. The live manor buildings today serve as a place for presenting and promoting rich traditional cultural heritage. Modern nature, Plateliai ancient times, manor, regional history and ethnographic exhibitions are set up in a former manor barn. Plateliai Manor Barn houses workshops for traditional heritage to promote crafts, conferences and folk art camps. Former manor stables offer now the first exposition in Lithuania dedicated to the traditional folklore festival in Žemaitija, Shrove Tuesday.